In this video, we're gonna talk about 10 places to visit in China. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Since Marco Polo wrote about China 700 years ago, this huge Asian country has been seen as mysterious and exotic. This enormous country is still fascinating after decades of economic growth. The juxtaposition between China's traditional customs and the new ultra-modern state has increased intrigue with the millennia-old culture. It is a culture that Chinese themselves celebrate, as proven by the preservation of the Forbidden City and the Summer Palace in Beijing. The Great Wall stretches 6,700 kilometers from the Yellow Sea to the Central Asia, and its shrines reflect ancient Eastern religions. Here are the 10 places to visit in China, so let's start. Number 10. The Great Wall of China. Nobody can be a great hero unless he has been on the Great Wall, says a common Chinese adage, highlighting the importance of this ancient landmark. The Great Wall of China runs over 6,000 kilometers from Shanghai Guan in the east to Jiayuguan in the west, passing through Hebei, Tientsin, Beijing, where the best preserved sections can be viewed to Inner Mongolia, Ningxia, and Gansu. The wall averages 6 to 8 meters tall, but can reach 16 meters and is wide enough for 5 horses and 10 men to pass. It has numerous battlements and watchtowers. Some of the wall's oldest fortifications date to 7th century BC, with the best-known sections constructed around 210 BC. Number 9. The Forbidden City and Imperial Palace, Beijing. The Forbidden City, commonly known as the Imperial Palace, is China's largest and most important building. Much of the structure was erected between 1406 and 1420 during the Yuan dynasty. This sprawling complex housed 24 Ming and Qing emperors, who restricted admission to anyone beyond the imperial family and courtesans. This 720,000 square meter complex is protected by a 10-meter high wall with watchtowers and white moat. It includes ceremonial and administrative areas as well as the emperor's private residence. The 5 white marble Golden River Bridges, the Hall of Supreme Harmony, a 35-meter tall building housing the imperial throne, the exquisite Emperor's Banquet Hall, the Hall of Preserving Harmony, and the Palace Museum with its Ming and Qing dynasty artifacts are highlights. English language museum towers are also available. Number 8. The Terracotta Army, Xi'an. In the 1970s, farmers digging wells outside Xi'an discovered the Terracotta Army. The find includes more than 8,000 life-size warriors, 520 horses, and more than 100 chariots from circa 280 BC. Many of the statues uncovered have been painstakingly reassembled and stand as a tribute to the monarch and the afterlife. The side part of the Emperor Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum, Side Park, is one of the China's most popular tourist destinations. Standing in front of the soldiers and horses is like inspecting a centuries-old parade. These are English-speaking trips. They're English-speaking trips. Number 7. The Summer Palace, Beijing. The Imperial Summer Palace is a 15-kilometer journey from Beijing and one of the China's most visited sites. The lake was added to the palace's imperial gardens in the 14th century. The Hall of Benevolence and Longevity and the Great Theater, a private 3-story edifice completed in 1891, are highlights. This ancient theater is worth a visit for traditional Chinese plays and musical activities. Number 6. Cruising the Li River, Guilin. Guilin in the northeast Guangxi is notable for the Li River, which winds through the town and adjacent Karst Mountains. This distinctive scenery has drawn poets, artists, and fairy tales and legends for centuries, and now it's popular with travelers from over the world. Take a Li River boat to see the area. The Guilin to Yangshu, the river meanders through 80 kilometers of rock formations and caverns with lyrical names like Mount of Unique Beauty, Elephant Trunk Hill, and Reed Flute Cave. Depending on the boat used, journeys might last from a few hours to multiples of days. Number 5. Chengdu Research Base of Giant Panda Breeding, Sichuan. Without at least one panda encounter, no trip to China would be complete. While many great specimens of these fascinating creatures may be found in China's leading zoos, the best site to see them in their natural habitat is the renowned research base of the giant panda breeding in Chengdu, in the province of Sichuan. You will be able to observe up to 80 pandas going about their everyday activities, like as foraging and playing in the facility's spacious park-like setting. In addition to getting up and personal with these magnificent creatures, you will learn a lot about them through the many permanent exhibits and displays outlining ongoing conservation efforts to ensure their survival. Number 4. The Yangtze River and Three Gorges. The Yangtze River, also known as Changjiang, in China, is China's longest and most important river, stretching over 6,000 kilometers and ranking third in the world after the Amazon and the Nile. The Yangtze River, which flows from Tibet in the west to Shanghai in the east through 8 provinces, has been China's principal transportation route for more than 2,000 years. Some 2,700 kilometers are navigable. Its huge catchment area, which includes 700 tributaries, covers around 1/5 of the country's total area and 1/4 of the country's agricultural land. While the river's length allows it to be visited by many parts of China, the picturesque Three Gorges, Kutang, Wu, and Zhiling, a 200-kilometer section between the cities of Finji and Aichang, are by far the most popular with tourists. The river makes its way through the gorges with their rocky cliffs and high mountain peaks and a stretch of terrain as dramatic as the Grand Canyon with wild torrents and perilous shallows. Number 3. The Classical Gardens of Suzhou, Jiangsu. The Classical Gardens of Suzhou should be high on your China travel agenda because they are considered one of the world's most important historic gardens, as evidenced by their status as UNESCO World Heritage Site. These exquisite gardens, which were among 270 or more gardens built in the historic city of Suzhou in Jiangsu Province, were established in the 11th century at a time when the city was experiencing tremendous growth. The beautiful Garden of Lingering, a 7-acre facility put up 1800 on the site of a park originally created during the Ming Dynasty, is the most famous of the surviving restored gardens. The garden has a pool, many charming buildings, a main mad hill, a grove of peach tree, and lovely covered pathway on the walls, which hang more than 300 stone tablets carved with old Chinese characters, making it one of the China's most famous garden complexes. Number 2. The Potala Palace, Tibet. The beautiful Potala Palace in Lhasa, Tibet, is another of the China's most famous historic landmarks. It was built as a fortress and residence for the Dalai Lama and served as a center of the political and religious power for centuries, including many of the religion's most valuable items. The Red Palace, the earliest of the 2 Potala palaces, was constructed in the 17th century and houses the complex's most prominent shrines. These can be found in the Enthronement Hall, which has murals depicting scenes from the life of the Dalai Lamas and Tibetan kings on its walls. The Red Palace's many huge halls devoted to the religion's teachings, as well as the magnificent tombs, known as stupas, of a number of Dalai Lamas are further highlights. Number 1. Shanghai's Promenade, the Bund. A remarkable act of smart city planning and preservation can be seen in Shanghai's splendid riverside promenade, the Zhangjiulu, perhaps better known as the Bund. As you stroll this wide pedestrian zone along the Wangpu-Jiang River, you will almost forget you are bang smack in the middle of the China's largest city. Shanghai's population exceeds 24 million people. Famous for its European feel, a fact owed to the district's past as the location of the city's international settlement, the Bund is popular for its 52 preserved English and French-influenced buildings, many now restaurants, cafes, stores, and art galleries, representing a variety of influences from Gothic to Renaissance styles, including a number of Art Deco buildings. The architecture includes highlights such as the Old Harbor Custom Office with its bell tower and the majestic Peace Hotel. What do you think of our video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit the subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.